you cannot be a Premier League type of footballer and you have all the access to play in Premier League, and then you are playing in the Nigerian football league. If you do that, it should purely be by choice. Right. That's my advocacy for being global. And for people who have known me over the years, especially in the area of careers, like, it's global or nothing. So everything I say can be argued. But if you decide to look at it from a global standpoint, there will be less arguments. Because if your aim is not global, my talk is not for you. My career style is not for you.
One of the common sources of frustration, especially like Nigerian students like me who move abroad for studies, has been finding a job. Maybe it's not a thing for everybody, but for students who live in Europe and UK, you would agree with me that it is often a big headache. And that's been my story for the last 4 months. I have struggled, I have done interviews, I have sent in applications, or so I thought. And it's so frustrating when you do all of these things and then you get rejections. And in my head, I was a highly sought after dietitian in Lagos, Nigeria. Why am I applying for roles and I am not getting it? And it's so frustrating. Most of the jobs available here are the cleaning jobs or the menial jobs. And I'm like, for a big baby like me to be cleaning, it's not going to happen, right? And sometimes I think about it, am I just being proud or am I just lazy? But I'm here for an executive MBA and I paid so much money to be in school. Why am I still struggling to get a job? Now, it was such a big concern for me. I had so much headache about it until I met Kitan David. Now, the backstory. Before I resumed at ESADE, so many people had said to me, oh, you should look for Kitan. Kitan is a great guy. He's in ESADE too. He's doing the full-time MBA. You really should have a sit down with him and talk to him. But I have a bad behavior, so I wouldn't go out of my way to meet anybody. And so 3 days ago, I run into Kitan. We have a sit down. And then I just express all my challenges and my frustration. And the first thing he said is, send me your CV, let me look at it. Then he takes a look at it. And then the first thing he says is, nah, if I was your employer, if I was an employer, I would not hire you because your CV doesn't tell me a story. And it bruised my ego a bit because it makes sense why I've been getting all those rejections. Then he asked me, how many applications have you sent in the last 4 months? And I'm like 20. And he was like, if you've not sent 600, then you are joking. I have been joking. And I said to him, no, you're not going to leave. You have to be the first guest on the Business School Applied podcast. Because yes, we learn a lot from business school, but I have also come to understand that we learn the theory and not the practicality of it. So I have a sit down with Kitan today where we discuss everything career, human resources, and how to move from being an average person to being a great person. So sit down, relax, enjoy this podcast. It's about 25 minutes long, but I promise you it is just what you need to move your career from average to great. I'll see you after the podcast. Hi, Kitan. It's nice to have you at the podcast.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Yeah. So, quick story, guys. I met Kitan like some 72 hours ago, and now he's on my seat. And we're doing this awesome podcast. So, everybody has told me about Kitan, the great guy. Kitan's a great guy. When I was coming to ESADE, my cousin had said, I know somebody going to ESADE sent me your profile. Like, I already knew who you are before I got to ESADE. And even, from time to time, have you met Kitan? He's such a great guy. And yesterday I posted that, Kitan was coming to the podcast, and somebody sent me a voice note, like a full voice note explaining why Kitan is a great guy. Now, I've looked forward to meeting him. I didn't go out of my way to meet him, but I looked forward to meeting him. And then I met him, right? And I'm like, I should have met this great guy a long time ago. And you guys will know why. Yeah. So, great guy, you're welcome. Thank you for agreeing to do this.
I need the list of everybody that said I'm a great guy. Their name, what they do for work.
It doesn't matter.
Because she's hiding their identity.
No, it doesn't matter. But I played a voice note for you.
But you eat the identity of
that's all right. We usually give out our sources. But, for the privilege of people who have not, people who have not met you, Who is Kitan? Who is this Kitan David? Who is this great guy?
Professionally.
Who is Kitan David?
I'll keep it professional. Okay, so my name is Kitan David.
Okay. Hi,
I like Great Guy by Ashake. Probably that's why people think I'm a great guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I studied computer science,
Okay.
but I worked as a software engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have 12 years
Work experience.
post undergrad.
Mm-hmm.
If you count pre-undergrad, during undergrad, it might be more, but I mean, in global environments, it only counts post undergrad.
Mm-hmm.
So I have 12 years work experience post undergrad that cuts across software engineering, building startups, failing in some, making some money in some, exiting in some. My most previous startup was at Texas, New York.
Okay.
And then I pivoted to finance, and then I worked in private equity, and then came to the MBA.
Okay.
So, yeah. But all through this career trajectory, one thing I've done, either professionally or by the side, is career coaching. I help young and ambitious people.
Yeah.
And I've been privileged to work with very ambitious people. Like, they're my clients, but they inspire me. Like, and then we'll get to talk about some of them today.
Yeah.
Probably not mention names. But I help very young and very ambitious people who are trying to, be global in their careers, like either change careers, either make single jump, double jump, triple jump. All these are like career linguas. And that's what I've done.
Yeah. Talking about single jump, double jump, triple jump, that's where we're starting our conversation today. Because that's where, you and I started the core of our conversation from. I mean, we met and I was expressing my frustration. And I was talking about how in the last 4 months, it doesn't make sense that I live in Europe and I'm earning in Naira. So I've actively been looking for a global job, either in Europe or in America or somewhere that can pay me foreign currency. And I have not gotten any, and I have been so frustrated. And I remember having the conversation with you, and then you look at my CV, and you're like, nah, I won't hire you. And I mean, that was brutally honest.
I said it nicely.
Yeah, he said it nicely. And thank you very much. Thank you very much for saying it the best way you knew how to. Even though I wouldn't have taken offense if it sounded worse, because I think it was a truth that I needed to hear. And in the last 2 days, I've thought about it and it makes a lot of sense. And that's why we're here today, because I know it's not a me problem alone. A lot of people are frustrated because, I mean, there are a couple of us in this MBA, and 2 of my friends have spoken about how it's been difficult getting a job. And so for the first time, it made sense how this very hot dietitian in Lagos, Nigeria, that I told you how my cousin said to me, oh, is it because they beg you to come and work in Lagos? That's why you think, it's your birthright to just get a job. And so, why do you think that is?
And you are earning lots of money too.
Yeah, so let me tell you guys. I know I shouldn't talk numbers, but I was kind of expressing my frustration, and I was like, oh, I was even earning 1.8 million naira in Nigeria. And I was like, okay. And I won't lie, that did something to my ego, because, the average, did you see the report by Piggy West?
No, not this year, but
1 in 20 people earn over 1 million naira now in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And then I talk about how I had hit the 1.8 million naira mark, and Kitan was not impressed. He was just like, okay, that sounds like 150,000 naira to me. You said that. You said that. I remember. How come my money? And that really did something to my ego. But it makes sense, because even in Nigeria, we had some people that were already earning 3,500, 4,000 USD. And so I wasn't even earning up to 1,000 euros. So yeah. So why do you think that is?
I'm glad you were eventually able to. You are earning minimum wage.
Yeah, I wasn't earning the minimum wage. Yes. So, but why do you think that is?
Many things.
Okay.
We can't uncover everything, but we can, pick some things and talk about them.
Yeah.
The first thing is, obviously, it's business. I can only pay you what I make.
It's true.
Right? In the Nigerian and most African countries, these companies can afford to pay higher than that.
Yeah.
And that's okay, right? But you cannot be a Premier League type of footballer and you have all the access to play in Premier League. And then you are playing in the Nigerian football league. If you do that, it should purely be by choice. Right. That's my advocacy for being global. And for people who have known me over the years, especially in the area of careers, like, it's global or nothing. So everything I say can be argued. But if you decide to look at it from a global standpoint, there will be less arguments. Because if your aim is not global, my talk is not for you. My career style is not for you. So if you then have the skills, and then you know by now I have problem with the word potential. I don't know what potential is. Right? If you have the skills, if you have the know-how to play on a global level, prove to me that it is by choice that you are there locally. Ahmed Musa, somebody I respect. You don't watch football, do you? He used to play for the Super Eagles. This guy was playing internationally, and then he moved intentionally to play for Kano Pillars in Kano State. That is, there's a lot of other arguments to it, but at least that's an intentional move. Whether it's give back, whether it's getting sent, he chose to do that. There are then some other set of, and I'm trying to use football now because I'm trying to find, if I speak medicine or health, which is your own field, I pick tech, which is like a field I've played in a long time, it will be biased. Like the lawyer listening to this, the psychologist listening to this might feel left out. So that's why I'm trying to use a sport because it's career. Now, if we now have the other set of people that I'm trying to describe who have the skills, who have the know-how, but then they are identifying the blockers. Like the reason why I can't play on a global level is because I don't have a sponsor. The reason why I can't play on a global level is because how do I even get there? You see, all these questions we can answer it. We can break it down. The check boxes are: do you have what it takes to play at the global level? If no, are you ready to do what it takes to play at the global level? Then let's do them. So now you are here. Second problem. You represent all the hot cakes. Both male and female in Africa. I feel like, I'm at the top of my career. I'm being poached. I'm going from here to here. Pride has entered your bloodstream.
No, it's not that.
Right?
Why?
Everybody is poaching you. And then now you're on a global level. And then you're chopping rejection emails.
It's painful, man. It's painful.
Even though you've not gotten a lot. But it's okay. We'll get there.
Really? I'll get there. No, I don't want to get there.
You will. That's the road. The first thing is, what is exciting to you in your career? It's probably not exciting on a global level. And it boils down to storytelling, like your first skill. Somebody says, this guy can tell a better story than I can tell. That's not, you're looking at the fruit. That's not the root of the skill. The root is first, the guy knows what story to tell. Right.
What to sell.
Exactly. So I'll be using hypothetical examples or examples of sports so that I don't step on toes too much. Right. This imaginary girl, African, brilliant, has everything it takes to be on a global level. Tells you meet up at a restaurant or you're just having a casual conversation and you say, tell me about your career. I just want to hear the exciting things. And then she goes like, I planned Abuja Sususu events. I planned Lagos Sususu festival. Okay.
All right.
What does that mean? Like it's on your head. Like it means nothing. Then somebody thinks that that's the disadvantage of location. Because if that same girl had said that I planned Paris Fashion Week or I'm the one that organizes the GQ event for men in London, it would have made sense. So me, but not an employer.
True.
So it doesn't make sense whether it's London or Abuja or Tanzania or Lesotho. It makes no sense. What did you do? If I cannot translate what you do to numbers, it makes no sense. So you need to be able to tell that story. Now, by the time we take that thing that's exciting to you and break it down into ways that it will be exciting to the role that you want, then you find out it's not that exciting.
Yeah, I mean,
7 chances out of 10.
True.
I've seen this thing work
because
out.
when we talked about my CV, I'm like, okay.
Somebody says, "Oh, I built a company from scratch. It was tough, but I learned this, and then you're looking at the exciting things, and then we break it down to what's useful in the workplace. This is the role that you want. Okay, these are the transferable skills from that thing. Yeah, can you see that you are actually not that
you're not that great. Yeah.
You are actually not that much of a great person.
Yeah.
That is what you hear. Meanwhile, there are other things in your career that we should talk about, but they are not great to you. And then you've messed up there.
Yeah.
They are not great to you, so you did not focus a lot on them, and you did not do them well.
Okay.
While you are there. Can you see? So there's a huge gap.
Yeah.
And then there's this, I don't know whether it came from motivational speakers or it came from preachers. There's this huge belief that we Africans have about potential.
Yeah.
It's probably also sold to us by the West. Oh, Africa is a continent with great potential. Then you walk around feeling,
and they should hire me because I have potential.
If your potential is not kinetic, because people have potential. If it is that, everybody has potential, right? So give me kinetic, and then I can then carry your kinetic to multi-kinetic. You see all that potential, you have to really work on it.
I don't want you to bring your potential to my office and not do any work.
If I'm in a leadership, if I'm organizing a leadership training program in my office where I do take you through rotational leadership, probably you can come in with potential. But even that potential, I need to see it in numbers. That's why you qualify for the program. So it has to be kinetic already, if there's any word like that. So that's like gaps.
I get it. So, but when you talk about it like that, it really bruises my ego. And like you said, you're right, pride. There's a lot of pride. If I was at the top of my career, I was one of the hottest dietitians, maybe not clinically. There are other people that know this clinical stuff more than me. But if you look at my own journey, when people want to hire somebody to lead a nutrition organization, Tito Moyo will come first. Like, oh, she's great at leadership. She's great at operations. Oh, you want to build your tech. She knows her way around it. Oh, is it culinary art? But now that I'm having to compete in a pool of people that are actually that awesome, I'm beginning to find out you're not that awesome. You're just playing in a market of mediocres. So it's more like in a company of blind people, the one-eyed man is. And so, that really hurts me when I thought about it. But then I remember that we were also having a conversation, and then you asked me, so you've been applying, how many applications have you put out? And then you're talking about some guy that you worked with and how he did 600 applications. And I'm like, 600? Oh, wow. And in 4 months, I have just done like 20, and I'm excited. Please. I have just done like 20. For me, the rejection was a lot. And so it pained me, especially because I'm coming from a place where I'm hot. And then what do you mean by my service is not needed, or you've checked other candidates? And it kind of rubbed off on me on the wrong way. And I'm like, okay, no problem. I'll just sit and wait for the person that knows that to take me and do this work to hire me. And they're like, no, girl.
It's not going to happen.
So, but that's not just me. That's a lot of people, because 600 is crazy. It's crazy numbers. Like, it's crazy. To you, it's not.
It's a good number.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a good number.
And my cousin has said to me, I was expressing my frustration one day, and she was like, oh, sorry. It's because you are used to being pampered where you're coming from. Welcome to the real world. Ta-da! You know? Yeah, so what do you have to say about, what would you speak to about that?
So, for example, the guy I was telling you about, was 623 to be precise.
623.
And then the job he then got in Canada on our Excel sheet was number 300 and something that you had applied to. So there's application, there's doing your first call, depending on the job, there's doing your panel interview, there's doing barrister interview, depending on whatever. Again, like all these contexts are in Fortune 500 companies or companies that are on their way to being that, whether now or in the next decade. So these companies are attracting the best of talents to come work for them. Now, in percentage, the best of talents that are needed in the business world is small. When you look at that percentage to the population of the world, 8 billion is small. But then when you are in that game, like me and you, you find out that it's a lot of numbers.
It's a lot.
The average recruiter in an MBA, the average recruiter, people would think, oh, they have a lot of resumes. They don't know how many resumes they have. Average is 10,000 for one job role. And those 10,000 resumes are smart people. People who have done things. That thing that you are currently excited about, somebody has it on their resume as their undergrad internship.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, you said, oh, you built a startup. The startup had 20,000 users. That was somebody's second year university.
That's somebody's
project
hobby or something.
About giving women a voice. She and a brilliant classmate came together. They did a project, got 50,000 women all over the world to sign something. She got to give a talk at the UN. All of this when she was 21, right? Or when she was 19, in undergrad. And then she has then moved on to do
about it
consulting. She has then, which is beautiful. Does it make you, oh, now we should look down on that? No, don't. It puts you on another side that we can work with. Again, it's a numbers game. I agree that I am on the extreme end of things, and I don't think so. People make me think so. Like I people that are close to me, I constantly like tell myself I'm not doing enough. But when I then see what other people are doing, I'm like, oh, now I get why you people think I am an extreme.
2,600.
I mean, exactly. Like even like in the MBA, I'm the VP careers in my MBA. So
I know, like yesterday and 2 days ago, I said something like, oh, I believe that if I had schooled in abroad, I would be doing a lot better now. And you really disagreed, right? You disagreed. And me, I'm of the opinion, now that I am in like a top MBA school, I would always say stuff like, oh, if I had done my undergrad in Nigeria. And why I'm saying that is because I remember when in 2024, when I started having conversations with people about coming to an MBA, I have a friend that gave me a whole spreadsheet and said, these are the top schools in America, and these are the schools you should do your MBA. Then I check all the requirements. You have to write IELTS. You have to, I'm like, nah. And I was looking, you have to apply for scholarship. You have to do this. And I was like, what are the easiest schools to go? And my cousin looks at it and says, no, it's top school or nothing. And here we are at ESADE. But what do you think about, the whole MBA journey and what kind of schools people should do for the MBA?
I know this is a big debate, but I would say if you're going to an MBA, just go to the top schools. Like, there's always that one guy that didn't go to a top school that is in a top job. Yes, but if you want to run for a marathon, do you want to prepare for the marathon or you want to be the guy that shows up and then run the marathon? The best thing is to be the guy that prepares for the marathon. Then the mistake people then make is because they're in the top schools, the doors will be open. No, you're in a top school, you are just going to rub minds with brilliant people who all of you are then going to do the job. Like it doesn't make it any easier just because you have access to the Fortune 500 companies walking through the door doesn't mean all of them are just going to slam a job title or a name tag to you. No, you're going to do the work. And then the Nigerian educational system, of course, everybody knows that it's not at top par with what's in the world, but the skills you then gather after school, for a lot of people, it's enough to get into a top MBA. But that means sleepless nights preparing for GRE. A lot of people have never had to read for any exam. 6 years after they finish undergrad, you have to do that now. You have to remember permutation, probability, combination. You have to do all of that. And then you feel like, oh, it's useless. But then you bring all of these analytical skills into the MBA and then you're using it in strategy, in operations and stuff.
I remember doing an interview recently and all of those questions, and I'm like, what am I supposed to what's this for?
Yes.
And I got so frustrated that I didn't do the second interview because of that.
I mean, you all my interviews with consulting, with the FANG, I'm doing calculations, I'm doing arithmetic, some of them without calculators.
I was so
life
frustrated.
with the collar. And then I had one interview asking me, you have this truck, it's so cubic feet. You have this number of boxes, you have this number of workers. And I'm like, this is a permutation and combination question. And you just want to say, okay, I know it. Let me flex my mathematical muscle a little. I think it was impressive. I was excited doing that. Of course, it's
especially now that I'm competing on a global scale, I think I have to think that way now.
Yes. And if you don't want those kind of jobs, they are the other ones.
Yeah.
Yes.
So my last question before we go, because of course we can't talk about everything today, and it's the question I'm gonna ask everybody that comes here. Do you think that an MBA is worth it? Especially because now we have AI doing a lot of jobs and we have more MBA students out of jobs. Is it still worth it?
Yes.
Because we paid a lot of money to be in ESADE.
Yes. An MBA is worth it. Today, tomorrow, next year, 3 years from now, anytime in your career you feel like you want to do an MBA, you should go do an MBA. Of course, you need to, if you are 1 year post undergrad,
yes, no point.
The top schools would not take you.
Yeah.
If any school is taking you 1 year after your undergrad for an MBA, you probably should not go there.
You want to collect your money.
You need to have built some muscle, right? And one thing that myself and you had talked about before is don't always ask the people that are coming from where you are coming from the way. Yeah, it has its benefits, but focus more on the people that are where you want to be.
Yeah.
I mean, look at those people, and those are the people that should, you know, guide you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for context, I think we should talk about that. I was saying to you that I'm a dietitian. I come from the healthcare space, but then there's a place I want to go, and I look around in my industry because you had asked me that question when we met to say, what are the people in your industry that you look up to and are where you want to go? And to be honest, I look around and I don't see, maybe there is, and I just do not know. But now it makes sense to me when we're talking about it, and then I'm like, but there's nobody doing what I want to do. And you're like, no, you shouldn't talk to the people that are coming from where you're coming from. Yeah. So if I want to lead a global company, I shouldn't look for a dietitian that has led a global company. I probably would not find. You should look for people that have led a global company. But would they understand where I'm coming from?
They don't need to.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you want to play basketball, you talk to a basketballer. You don't talk to somebody who did whatever you did.
Yeah.
Right?
I think I see what
now, if you then find somebody who did what you did and it's a basketballer, I mean, you got 2 in 1. But at the end of the day, you will even find that person talking more about basketball than where you are coming from because that person had to unlearn so many things.
Yeah.
So,
it's been a lot. Like the last 3 days has been so much because it's been very emotional for me because I've now seen everything that I've done wrong, and I'm wondering, why did I not meet Kitan as soon as I landed in ESADE? Why did I first waste 4 months? You know, this is coming 4 months late, 4 months after I've been frustrated.
Probably coming at the right time.
Maybe, yeah. You know, I said to you that I feel like our meeting was divinely orchestrated.
Okay, this is my switch up.
All right, thank you very much for being on this episode. Thank you for being my first guest, and I hope that you come again because there's still so much to talk about, and we don't want to get people bored. We still have to talk about CVs. We still have to talk about interviews. I mean, you said something very interesting off camera that I would like to bring you back to talk about. But thank you for being here, and I hope. I mean, are you going to promise that you'll be back? Because it took so much to get you here.
I'm not promising anything, but of course, I'm always excited talking about careers.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right, guys. There you have it. And I hope you had a great time like I did sitting with Kitan David and having conversations with him on the Business School Applied podcast. Now, we definitely have to bring him back because 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes is not enough to actually learn from his wealth of knowledge. I've sat with him for 3 days and I have enjoyed everything that he has to say. First of all, now you know that if you have not sent 600 CVs in the last 3 months, you are joking. You've also learned how to move from just being an average person to being a great person. And that's why Business School Applied exists. It exists to change your mind, change your life, just like it has changed mine. Kitan David is one of the many guests we're going to have on this podcast. And I hope, just like he has changed my life, that this conversation has actually also challenged the way you think about work. I have another great guest for you next week. And I hope that, you find it as interesting as this episode. If you liked this episode, please don't forget to like, share, and drop a comment. It would mean a lot to me. Thank you guys for joining me this week. Don't forget, the episode drops at 3 p.m. every Monday. Thank you. I think I'm talking too much. I'll see you guys same time, same channel next week. Bye for now.